Hello and welcome to your at-home yoga practice. I'm Kelsey and I will be guiding you through this nice gentle practice today. This is a beginner-friendly practice. We're just focusing on a couple areas, focusing on tightness through the shoulders and the chest, and also in the hip area and the pelvic floor. So focusing on the two main stress points of the body, and just focusing mostly on relaxation and lengthening those muscles and stretching them out. We are not really working on strengthening today. We're more so working on releasing today. So if that sounds like something that you want to get into, find a comfortable seated position and we can get started. So two things I do want you to have is, again, just a comfortable spot to be at. And I am currently sitting on just a pillow. So if you want to grab a couch pillow of some sort, you can grab one of those. And then also what is helpful is a belt or a scarf or something that's long that you can grab that's flexible. So grab a pillow and a belt and a comfortable spot and you're ready to go. So to start, we're gonna just be in a comfortable seated position. You can be on this pillow, sitting on it like I am. My cat always gets in my videos. He's ridiculous. You can be on a pillow like I am, or you can just be right on the ground. Either way, whatever you feel most comfortable with. Feet or legs can be crossed. They don't have to be. If it's uncomfortable that way, you can let the feet come out in front of you. Either way, just find a comfortable seated position and we can begin. So close your eyes and we'll begin to just drop into the body and shake away any of that excess things. By excess things, I mean anything that happened before this moment. Just drop it right at the mat. Drop it at the mat and let it go. And we are just here in this moment to experience what we're about to experience and feel what we need to feel and move on with alignment and intention from there. So we'll close our eyes and let our hands rest upon our knees, and we'll just start to pay attention to the breath. Notice if it's going fast or slow, if it's heavy or deep, or if it's shallow. Notice if your exhales are heavy or reserved. And start to notice where we're breathing. Are you breathing up high in the chest, cueing stress? Or are you breathing deep down low into the belly, letting on relaxation? Start to take over the breath. And as you inhale, let the inhale come all the way down towards the bottom of the lungs first, filling from the bottom of the lungs all the way up through to the collarbones. And then exhaling from the collarbones down through to the belly. So we're just going to follow this wave, inhaling, filling from the bottom up, and exhaling from the top down. Follow your own breath here. If you can, let the breath come in and out through the nose. Letting any thoughts drop away. And again, just being here with the breath. For your next few breaths, let that exhale come out of the mouth in a sigh, letting go of any tension we might be holding on to subconsciously. You can let that exhale out in an audible sigh if you'd like. Deep inhale all the way down through the belly, filling up to the top of the lungs and exhaling out. One more nice full breath and a nice heavy exhale. Here we're going to start to move into the spine. We're going to start with the top at the neck, and we're going to drop our right ear down to the right shoulder. You can let the eyes slowly start to drift open. And from here, we're just going to do some neck rotations with the breath. So as we inhale, we're going to bring the crown of the head around the shoulders. And as we exhale, we'll bring that chin over the chest. So just moving our neck nice and slowly, moving our head nice and slowly in that nice slow circle, moving with the breath, inhaling the head around the shoulder blades and exhaling over the chest. Nice and slow. And we'll reverse the circle, but keep the breath the same. So again, inhaling the crown of the head around the shoulders and exhaling over the chest. Just moving in the opposite direction now. One more, and we can slowly come to center. You can roll those shoulders down away from the ears, relaxing the arms. And we'll lift the arms up nice and tall, and then bring the gaze up towards the hands and act as if you're holding a ball there. So don't let the hands come together yet. That can be a little bit limiting in the neck and kind of a little bit too crunchy, I should say. But if you just keep those hands apart, about shoulder width apart, act as if you're holding a big beach ball there, and just take a few breaths here. Bring that gaze up towards your thumbs and just breathe in. Very good. 2 more big breaths like this. One more. And we can slowly start to drop those hands down. We'll bring the hands back behind us and try to grab onto opposite elbows or opposite wrists, whichever feels best for you. And again, we're just going to sit up nice and tall, kind of roll those shoulders down away from the ears. And you can let the head drop back a little bit if it feels comfortable for you. And we'll just take a couple breaths here, opening up the chest and letting those shoulders relax down and back. Nice, long, slow breaths. And we can start to relax the arms, releasing them out. And you can shake out any of that tension you might be finding in the shoulders. Find that new space we're creating. And here we're going to start to move into the lower body. So we'll bring the legs out in front of us. I'm going to turn so I'm on the long side of our mat. And here you might want to bring in your pillow, but we will see. So we'll be at the long side of our mat. We'll bring our feet out in front of us, hip width apart. We don't need to bring the feet together. They can be, prefer hip width apart for relaxing the hips and releasing the low spine area. So from here, we want the legs to be nice and straight out in front of us. If our knees are bending and this is not comfortable for us, this is where you can bring in your friend, the pillow, and bring it under you. Just place it there. And you sitting up a little bit higher, may be able to kind of straighten those legs out. So either way, if there's a slight bend there still in the knees, don't worry about it. As long as you're comfortable in the seated position, you're good to go. So from here, the point of our forward fold is to open up in this low spine and sacrum area while also lengthening through the backs of the legs. So In order to do that, we have to keep our spine very, very straight. If we start to curl in, which is what a lot of people do when they do a forward fold, they just, bend and reach as far as they can. That's their forward fold. We're not getting any of that opening in the low back when we do that. So it doesn't matter where we are in this pose, whether we're just sitting straight up or whether we're touching our toes. What matters is that the spine is staying nice and straight. So from here, this might be as far as you go for now, and then you will slowly progress more and more as those muscles loosen up. If you're ready to kind of expand or feel a little bit deeper of a stretch or pull in the low back, spine, glute area, we can begin to take those deep breaths and start to move forward. So when you are ready, again, and you can also kind of just move your flesh, your butt cheeks basically, out from underneath you, so you can kind of really ground your hip bones down into the ground, and it really gives you a more stabilized position. So from here, we'll take a nice big inhale, lift those arms up nice and tall. And then as we exhale, again, like I said, keeping a nice straight spine here, we're gonna just start to drop the hands down, and we're gonna start to slowly let the chest come forward. We wanna lean forward with the heart. And then we can let those hands come down wherever they fall. So again, it doesn't matter whether we're reaching the toes or not. What matters is keeping that spine nice and straight. Now the magic here is in the breath. So just like every yoga pose, your breathing is so key. So breathing nice and slowly, evenly and deeply will all help for us to lengthen and stretch into the full mobility of the pose. So again, as we start to move in, you can lift those arms up nice and tall, big inhale, and then exhale, start to lean forward with the chest, leading forward with the chest, so that low spine can start to open up back there. And then you can bring those hands down, relax them wherever you feel comfortable, and take those deep belly breaths. You can let those breaths come out of the mouth in a sigh to help cue to the body to relax and release. And just take some long, slow breaths here. We'll be here for about a minute, so just take some nice, slow breaths. If you'd like, you can always just drop the hands down. You can always reach up again and come back into the pose if you'd like, if you're finding a little bit too much tension there. But you'll find the longer that you spend in the pose, the deeper you can get into it. And the longer that you're sitting there just breathing nice and deeply through that discomfort, you'll end up lengthening and getting to those places that you want to get to. So, taking those deep breaths still in this position, keeping that spine straight again, not curling into it. And just slowly making our way down. Again, you don't have to be making any sort of reaching whatsoever if that is not where you're at. If your knees are still bent here, then just spend your time trying to get those legs to be nice and straight right here. And just sit up tall. That's still going to be opening up your low back just as much as me being here. So, be where you are and do what you need to do for you. Moral of the story. Anyway, where were we? Breathing deeply in this nice forward fold. I told you it'd be a minute. It's probably been 2. But that's again how yoga goes, especially when it comes to yin. Taking those long, deep breaths. And we can slowly, on your last exhale, start to move yourself back You can bring those hands back behind you, and you can start to rotate the ankles, or you can slowly start to shake out the legs. I like to do windshield wipers, or just bringing those legs down and letting the knees go from side to side. Really shaking it out there. Getting that low spine started in the backs of the legs. And from here, we're going to come back to a seated position and come over, all the way over, into a tabletop. So from here, we're just going to do some cat-cow. This is a very basic yoga pose and very common, I should say. And here we're just lengthening and opening up through the spine, moving with the breath. So as we inhale, we're going to dip the spine down, bring the crown of the head and the tailbone up towards the sky. And then as we exhale, we're going to squeeze in through the belly and just press through the spine, squeeze the abs, and really squeeze that exhale out. So inhaling, lifting up, and exhaling in. Do this a few times, just following your own breath. And after your next exhale, you can come to just a normal tabletop position. From here, we'll tuck the toes and we'll come back into a downward facing dog. This one might be one that people are familiar with. So you can just tuck those toes where you're at and then start to straighten out through the legs, moving back into our down dog. So from here, we're going to press back through the legs, press down through the heels. We're going to press back through the palms as well, lifting up through the shoulders, having a nice straight spine, and having the hips pressing up towards the sky. From here, we're going to take some big breaths. You can alternate bending the knees if you'd like, or what's called walking the dog. Opening up the backs of the legs. And taking some big breaths. We want our ears to be right between our biceps, basically. Keep the spine nice and long. And we're still taking those deep belly breaths where we're pulling that air all the way up through the belly to the hips. And exhaling down. From our down dog, we are going to move into our pigeon pose. So we'll begin by lifting up tall through that left leg. You lift it up nice and high. And then as we exhale, we're going to bring it towards our left wrist. So we're going to bring that left knee by the left wrist. We can plant that down. And we'll plant the left heel or ankle between the right wrist and the right hip. So it'll be anywhere in between there. You can try to get that ankle up towards the right wrist if you'd like, but if that's not happening for you, just anywhere between that right side, that right wrist and that right hip area is good. So here we're going to press back through that right leg nice and long, and we're going to be opening up through this left side hip. We'll sit up nice and tall. You can probably start to feel that hip opening up. If this is not comfortable for you, we can always, grab a pillow. And in this position, you can always bring that pillow kind of under you there, and then you can start to sit back on it. If that is too much pressure to not have the pillow there. If it is not painful and you feel comfortable, you do not need the pillow. You can just start to, again, place that leg where it needs to be. Lengthen out through that right leg, and we'll start to sit up through the spine. Taking a nice big inhale here. And then as we exhale, we'll bring those hands out in front of us, the arms out, and we can come down onto the forearms. And we'll bring the hands together and we'll just relax here for a few breaths. So the hips hold a lot of tension, a lot of emotional baggage, and all of this stuff. And so it's very easy to see why our hips are one of the most tight joints of the body. They also are being used all the time, very heavily muscled, and we're really never doing a whole lot to relax those muscles. So this pose is really, really great for letting go through the hips, letting go through the glutes, and getting that deep, deep stretch. So again, in this position, you want to be taking those deep belly breaths, feeling that tension build as you inhale. And then as you exhale, you can kind of feel that space that you're creating with the breath as you sink in a little bit deeper into the pose. Feeling that hip open up. Maybe feeling the opening of the top of the right leg as well. And just taking those big belly breaths. I invite you to come back to this pose as often as you'd like and really spend some time here. In Yin Yoga, we do a stretching pose like this, a relaxed stretching pose, and we hold it for like 15 to 20 minutes at a time, and that can be some really, really, really magical and juicy stuff. So if you're interested in any of that, I highly suggest taking this pose and going about 10 to 20 minutes per side and seeing how much that melts your mind, because it's quite amazing. So from here, we're going to slowly start to move out. And in any yoga pose, we want to come out just as gently as we came in. So we want to just slowly move in slow motion, backtracking out. We can straighten through the arms here, plant the hands into your mat. Start to heel toe that right foot up, and just kind of toeing it up a little bit to give you some support. And then when you're comfortable, you can tuck those toes to the right leg and extend it back. And then start to lift up through the left leg, extending the left leg back. You can let it flap over, bending towards the right side if you'd like. And then you can bring it down towards the ground and plant it down into your downward facing dog. Again, you can walk out the dog or just alternate bending the knees. And from here, we'll press back through both heels and we'll move into a pigeon on the right side. So on this side, we will inhale, lifting that right leg up nice and tall. And as we exhale, we're going to bring it through. Bring that right knee by the right wrist and the right ankle anywhere between that left wrist and the left hip. So from here, we're going to extend back through that left leg nice and long. And we'll start to sit up through the torso, letting our weight press down through the hips. And we'll take a couple big breaths here. Again, you can let those exhales come out of the mouth in a sigh if you'd like. And that helps cue to the body to relax and let go. When you're feeling ready, again, you can place that pillow. If you're using a pillow, you can place the pillow under the right side if you'd like. Otherwise, plant those hands down and you can start to walk the hands forward. Slowly, slowly coming in to the forearms. And we can take some nice deep belly breaths here. Notice what might be different between the left side and the right side. A lot of times one side's tighter than the other, and we don't want to come at it with judgment, just come at it with awareness. Just understand it, know it, see it, and work on it. Deep belly breaths. Try to relax those hands if we're feeling like we're clenching and holding on. Trying to let go of the palms. Two more big breaths here. And again, we want to move out as quick or as slowly as we moved in and as gently as we moved in. Coming up onto the hands first. And then we can start to inch that left leg up towards us, and that left foot up towards us. Straightening through that left leg in a plank position. We can start to lift and bring that right leg back, extending it out. You can let the right leg bend and fall towards the left side of the body if that feels good for you. And we'll start to drop that right leg down into our down dog. From here, we're just going to walk out the dog a little bit, alternate bending the knees. And then we'll bring those knees down towards the ground in a child's pose. Let the knees come down. Let the big toes come together. And you can spread the knees apart and let the hips come back towards the heels. Extend the arms forward and let the forehead come down towards the ground. Take a few breaths here, relaxing the hips, feeling it opening up through the low spine and opening up through the shoulders. From here, as we inhale, we can slowly draw the hands back. We're going to plant the hands in front of us. And here we're going to lift up the right arm on an inhale. Bring the gaze up towards that thumb. And then as we exhale, bring that right hand through underneath that left arm and try to bring the head down towards the ground. Stretching the shoulder blade here. We'll just take a couple big breaths. We can press through that left hand, bring that right arm back and lift it all the way back up. And exhale, place it down next to the left arm or left hand. Left side, inhale, lift that left arm up, straight up towards the sky. And then exhale, bring it through, place it underneath that right arm, thread that needle, and let the head come down towards the ground. Couple deep breaths. And we can press through that right arm, opening up through the left, and exhaling, bringing it back down in front of us. Here we're going to come back down onto our bottoms into a comfortable cross-legged position. And here we're going to do what is called laughing cow pose. And so What we're doing here is we're going to open up through the hips and the shoulders simultaneously. We're going to bring the legs out in front of us, plant those feet down, and we'll start with the right side. So bring the right foot underneath you and try and place that right foot by your hip area as close as you can, or just right there. And you can sit right here if you'd like, and you might be staying right here for the pose. We'll see. Step 2, grab that left leg, bring the left leg over the right, and try to stack those knees right over top of each other. Placing that left leg down like this. If that's not comfortable for you, like I said, you can bring that left leg out and just sit right like this, focusing on this right side. So, find your comfortable spot. By comfortable, I don't mean not feeling any sensation, I just mean no pain. You don't want to be feeling any pain. So from here, we might want to have our belt handy, and we're going to lift the right arm. You can put the belt in your right hand, lift the right arm up, and let the belt come behind your back, and then take your left hand and reach back, grabbing onto the belt and clasping onto that belt, opening up the shoulders and the chest. We want to take a nice deep breath here and try to get those hands as close together as possible. And eventually you'll be able to bind those hands together and you won't even need the belt. So just taking some nice deep breaths. We want to keep the spine nice and straight. We're going to be pressing down through the hips into the ground and opening up through the crown of the head. And this is our laughing cow pose. So we can begin to release those hands first, so we can shake it out through the shoulders, through the neck. And then we'll slowly bring that left leg off and bring the right leg out. And we can windshield wiper those legs back and forth. And then we'll go to the left side. So we'll bring that left leg underneath us, place it towards the left hip, and then stack that right leg right over top of the left. We can start to settle down into the hips there. And again, if this is not comfortable, we can just bring that left leg and we'll leave that right leg out or planted, however you feel most comfortable. So all of these little changes to make it work for you, make it work for your body. So once we're nice and settled, again, just noticing the body, how the different sides feel and tightness levels. We'll bring the belt into the left hand, lift the left arm up and let that belt come behind your back. Bring that right hand up behind us and reach onto that belt and grab the belt, reaching the hands as close together as possible. Taking some nice deep breaths, we want to lift up through the crown of the head, opening up through those shoulders, and grounding down through the hips. We can slowly begin to release, letting go of the belt, letting go of the arms. You can relax the neck, shake it out through the shoulders. And then we'll release that right leg, bring the left leg out. And you can shake it out through the legs, windmilling the legs or windshield wiper. You can just shake them out through the knees, however you feel most comfortable. So we're just going to do one more gentle forward fold before we move into Savasana, where we are complete with our practice. So again, just coming onto our mat, letting those legs come out in front of us. If you want to bring your pillow, you can place that underneath you if you need to, so that your legs can straighten out, so your knees are not bent. However you feel most comfortable. If you are sitting on the ground and you want to start to reach forward, let's remember to keep the chest nice and straight, or the spine straight, and lead forward with the chest. So from here, we'll take a nice big inhale, lift those arms up nice and tall, and then exhale, start to reach down towards the feet, letting those hands fall down wherever they may. And just starting to reach for the ankles, taking a nice big breath. Sinking in as we keep a nice straight spine. Opening up the chest, opening up the low spine. Notice any difference this time than from the beginning of our practice. You can slowly start to lean back. And then I want you to bring your feet together in a gentle butterfly. You can let the legs create a nice big triangle if you'd like, or diamond if you'd like. Or you can bring those feet in nice and close to you, however you feel the most benefit for your body today. If you do have your feet out in front of you a little bit, you can always, again, as long as you're keeping that spine straight, utilize moving forward and using the torso to help open up the hip area. So you can take some nice deep breaths here. You can rock from side to side a little bit, moving into the spine, relaxing that low spine area, creating more space. And then whenever you're ready, you can slowly start to come back out. We're gonna straighten out the legs. We'll come back onto the spine into our Savasana. So this is corpse pose, where we just lay onto the spine, let the palms face the sky. Roll those shoulders down away from the ears, open up through the chest. Relax the entire body. Let the feet be hip width apart or more. Let the toes fall out to the sides in your mat. You can begin to close your eyes and take some nice, slow, long breaths. With every exhale, we want to sink deeper into our mat and a little bit further away from our body. Just sinking in. Keeping those eyes closed, you can begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. You can lift that left arm up and lay it down next to your head. Turn towards the left side in a fetal type position. Keeping those eyes closed. Keeping all of your awareness internal. Whenever you're ready, you can slowly press yourself up into a comfortable seated position. You can just come into a cross-legged position, or however you'd like to sit. Just coming back to a nice seat. Keeping those eyes closed, you can roll those shoulders down away from the ears. And take a few breaths here. And bring the palms into heart center, bringing the hands together. Take a few breaths here, connecting with the breath as the chest rises and falls. Taking a moment to be grateful for all of our body, everything that it's done for us before this moment, and all it'll continue to do for us after this moment. Having gratitude for that, having gratitude for our health, having gratitude for those around us and those with us. Take a moment to express your own gratitude for whatever it is you feel grateful for. And take a deep bow to that deep internal self, the highest self that is connected to everybody and everything and brings us together in universal oneness. You begin to rub the hands together, create some heat and energy there between the hands. And then let those warm hands come over the closed eyes. You can gently massage the face, slowly opening the eyes. You can massage the neck or the shoulders, the hips, the knees, the feet, wherever you feel you need a little bit extra attention today. Again, just expressing gratitude for our bodies, for our minds and our souls. Namaste, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this practice, and I hope you walk away feeling refreshed and relaxed. Namaste.